Wouldn't it be nice to never have to worry about money again? Just win that jackpot, that Powerball. Oh, so good. I could spend my life riding a jet ski. Welcome back to the Meditation School podcast. And I want to take this episode to talk about the 7 relationships that we have with money. Right before I was born, a couple of years before I was born, we're going right back to the beginning. Long Island Jewish Hospital. A couple of years before I was born, my parents came to the United States as immigrants. Grandparents, parents, everybody together. They had no money, I think maybe 100 or a few $100s. And they started by living in government housing and kind of slowly, through a lot of hard work, worked their way up into the middle class. And so I grew up at first poor and then, middle class. And so I always experienced that kind of survival energy around money. And early in life, that's how I saw money and saw the world was you have to just go around, work really hard all the time just to get enough money to get by, because that's what life is. And wealthy people, they're wealthy because they stole the money. That was my concept. Or they were born into it, they were special, and I wasn't. And that's our first relationship with money, which is survival. So a lot of people, probably the majority of people on this planet, are living in a survival consciousness or survival relationship with money. I need to get the money to pay the rent, to pay the medical bills, to get by another day, to buy food. I believe I remember when I lived in India, more than half the population there was living under a few dollars a day. They were living on under a few dollars a day. So a lot of people live in this survival energy. I've also met very wealthy people who live in survival, even though they have money. It's still the consciousness that they're in, the energy that they're in. And my family survived the Holocaust, and so it was very intense for them. They really had very, very little. So as I grew up and started teaching and doing my own work, I had to start breaking out of that mold and that paradigm that was the only way to experience and look at money. That is the very, very common one. Most of us have at least some of that survival energy and consciousness going on. So that is our first relationship with money. Before I jump into the others, I want to mention I created a free money course meditation series. So I'm not asking you for money for the money course. It's a free meditation series and it's on my app that just came out. Yeah. The the meditation school app, if you go in Apple or Android, you can download it. And if you go to the free section, it'll be in there. So in this episode, I want to go through each relationship with money, just briefly give you an overview, and then there's a link below or wherever the links are if you want to do the rest of this, if you want to do the meditation series. Because I think this is a topic it's like sex and religion. Money is like sex and religion. It's hard to talk about. We feel shame around it, guilt. We feel bad caring about it or needing it, or maybe admitting that we don't have enough. So just like anything we're ashamed of in life or have a hard time with, we want to look at it directly and start to work the energy around it. So let's do that together. So first relationship, survival. Second relationship with money is an emotional one. And we've all had this experience too, where instead of calculating our budgets or making sure, we're not using too much on our credit cards, we buy things emotionally. I have to have my 72nd pair of shoes. I need it. I feel it. It'll make me feel so good. Or when we feel depressed, we just go out and buy stuff. Or we buy because we want to override some anxiety. There are many different ways to have an emotional relationship with money, but a telltale sign is you're not rationally thinking through your decisions. You're just making them from your gut. We all do this on occasion. I've known people who they cannot for the life of them budget. Everything is just a gut decision with money. And then we have our third relationship with money, which is self-image. So you see how nice my Tesla is? I don't know if you noticed my really sweet Tesla. Actually, I don't have one, but it'd be great to one day. Or look at my house. Look at the clothes I'm wearing. Look at my shoes. Look at I'm not a waiter at this restaurant. I am a patron. I remember I was taking comedy classes online because I'm a dork and I love comedy. And I had this fancy mic like I do now, if you're watching this on video. And my comedy teacher was like, "Hey, everyone, look at David and his fancy mic. He thinks he's so special and cool with his fancy, stupid mic." And she was just ripping into me. It was hilarious. And I was like, ouch, I do. I have some self image around my microphone. She just hit me right there. And so we find our value through the way people see us based on how much perceived value we have, based on how much money we have. So a lot of people will live on credit just so they can look like they're doing well because they care so much about the way they're seen because that equals their value, right? And then our fourth relationship with money is one of giving and receiving, a very heart-centered relationship. I recently got to raise some money for some orphanages in Nepal, and it felt so good to be able to give that money and to help. And for some of you listening who donated, we raised so much money. We bought computers for 2 orphanages and food for months for them and clothes and all sorts of good stuff. And they made videos for us. It was amazing. I'm in the process of starting a foundation to work with them regularly. So when that is up and running, I will share it so I can take your money and give it to them. That would be really cool if it was consistent. So in this fourth relationship with money, it's about giving and receiving. Maybe you're great at giving money and you're not good at receiving it, or you're pretty good at receiving it and taking it, but you're not so good at giving it. So here's where we work on that aspect. And yes, philanthropy can very much be a part of it, or gift giving. So that's our fourth relationship. And our fifth is an intellectual, rational one. So when I was 13, I started trading stocks. I was such a dork. I don't know why. It was the internet bubble, so maybe that was why people were making a lot of money. It was the 90s and it was just really fun for me. I would watch the stock channel and trade and so I got super nerdy into that. So when I look at someone like a Warren Buffett or a Ray Dalio, people who approach money from a very rational standpoint. This might have to do with managing your credit cards well, understanding compounding interest, knowing how to invest, real estate, budgeting, all of those very heady things that we need to master to be able to manage our money in a really grounded way. So if we're just emotional about money, it's hard to manage our money. So we need this part of us to balance the emotional survival parts, even the self-image parts, or even maybe you overgive and you don't have that much to give. And then we have a visionary relationship to money. So for example, I have a buddy who his whole goal is to help solve climate change with his money. He has a vision. Having a visionary relationship with money means you're looking at something bigger than just your own survival needs and your day-to-day stuff, right? Or just even anything that has to do with just you. You have a bigger vision. Like Elon Musk wants to use his money to make humanity an interplanetary species. That's his thing. Cool. Or make cars electric, shoot rockets all over space, right? So we can have a visionary relationship with money, see something bigger. And then the seventh one is an intentional or purpose-driven relationship with money. Maybe for you, you even call it a spiritual relationship with money, where you realize money is just energy, just like everything else. It's a medium of exchange, and it amplifies who we are, right? It really takes whatever we have inside of us and it just brings it out into the world in some way. I'm going to hold onto what I have and not share, right? It'll show that. Or you are very giving. Now you have money and you want to give, share, build, grow. it will reflect what's on the inside out onto the outside based on how we use it. And so when we get into an intentional or purpose driven relationship with money, every time we touch money, every time we interact with it, we're mindful. We're aware that it's energy. We're aware there's intention behind it when we spend it, when we earn it. So we're not cool with earning it any kind of way. We want to earn money in a way that has integrity, that gives our lives purpose. And we want to spend it that way as well. Maybe invest it that way. So a very intentional, maybe even spiritual relationship with money. And I think to live a balanced life, we need all seven. We need to take care of all of our needs on every level, just kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Maybe you want to use your money to create art, to travel the world, to help orphans, whatever it is, to build a house for your family. I don't think we need to be ashamed of money or say it's not a spiritual topic. I think there is a very grounded, healthy way to approach it. And so I made a series of meditations. They're all free, like I said earlier. If you just download the app or click the link wherever it is. Click the link to the thing I want you to go listen to. I know it's so annoying. Don't click it. I don't care. But if it's gonna be helpful for you, then go for it. And I wish that you have an amazing relationship with money moving forward and it starts to flower for you if that's something you're interested in. And do something wise with it. Do something wise, not dumb. That's how I'm going to end the podcast. Don't be a dumbass with your money. That's a good way to end the podcast, David. That's nice. It's good to see you again. Kind of. Here we are together. Thanks for listening. And I will see you in the next episode, whenever that one comes out. Be well. Take care.